Hello, beautiful people. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. In this video, I'm going to be talking about cryptocurrency. A lot of you watching this video right now definitely has heard about cryptocurrency and a few might have used it. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. Without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. In the early stages of society, there was no such thing as money. We'll call it stage one. So if you wanted to buy something, you have to walk up to someone and be like, I like your horse, can I trade it for my cat? The problem with this system was that even if I wanted to give away my horse, what if I don't want your cat? Because of this, currency was created and coins were created too. Stage two. Because coins were made out of precious metals like gold and silver, everyone just accepted that it was worth something. All of a sudden, in a trade, even if you don't want my cat, as long as I have some coins, we can trade for your horse. Even if you don't have any need for silver at the time, the fact that coins were made out of precious materials was reassurance that you can take your coins and trade it for anything that you want with someone else that wants your coin and has what you want. Sounds convenient, right? But then this evolved to stage three. As banks were established and governments have control, we then realized that we can move from the need to carry around blocks of precious metals to something even more convenient, paper money. It does the same thing, but now money is not valuable because it is made out of pure gold. Money now has value just because the government says it has value. Paper money is just a receipt, kind of like a proof that you have a certain amount of money. But as technology improved even further, we found more convenient ways of storing and trading our stuffs. We are now at what I call stage 4, where even more people are buying stuffs online and using credit cards. Really, when you're at that stage, you don't see your money anymore. It's not about coins, notes, or cards. It's just entries on a spreadsheet. Like when I buy a phone from Amazon, all that's happening is that my bank has an entry in my spreadsheet that says Eddie now has 1,000 naira less. Then Amazon Bank adds an entry that says Amazon now has 1,000 naira more. The reason why I've given you this entire introduction is to tell you exactly where cryptocurrency sits. It's seen by many people as the most convenient way of exchange ever. Stage 5. What is cryptocurrency? The way to think of it is that it is 100% virtual or digital. With crypto, there is no gold, there is no paper, there is no cards. It's just a transfer of digital assets. But the core concept is exactly the same. But think of it as literally just a spreadsheet keeping records of who paid what to whom. But instead of banks having a separate record, with crypto there is just one enormous spreadsheet of every transaction made with that currency, and it's called a ledger. So, what's all the hype about? Why is everyone going crypto crazy? Well, there are some distinct advantages to a currency system like this. Like one, it is decentralized, which means that while every transaction of a given currency is recorded on the same ledger, there are many copies of that ledger, and anyone who is part of the network has one. You might have heard of cryptocurrency mining and Bitcoin mining. Well, all that is someone who sets up a computer to crunch through their own copy of this ledger or spreadsheet. We already have more than 1 million Bitcoin miners around the world, and Bitcoin is just one type of cryptocurrency. The reason they do this, well, if you dedicate your computer's power to mining, you will earn some Bitcoin as compensation. So the result of this is that if I go into a store and I buy something worth of 5 Bitcoins, instead of just checking only one bank's records, the shop instead checks every single computer on the network to see if I have enough. And assuming I do, every computer gives the go ahead, and every single one of them updates their records independently. So because you end up with many copies of the exact same ledger, it becomes very easy to tell if anyone is trying anything fishy. Like for example, if I hack into a computer on the network and try to give myself more money by adjusting figures on their copy of the ledger, it doesn't go through. The system will realize that 99% of the copies of the ledger are saying one thing, but one is saying something else, so it must have been tampered with. There's clear organization to the system, and I think people believe in it because they see the future as open, traceable transactions, instead of having some bits of data over here and others over there. I know it seems all complex at this point, but as we go through this, I think you will realize that for a lot of people, in a way, it's simpler. There are a lot of areas around the world that have access to internet, and that's all you need for crypto, but don't have access to traditional banks, which requires a lot of paperwork and documentation. Two, and I have kind of implied this already, the main perks of crypto is that you don't need banks anymore because everything is stored by the people on the ledger. You can make international payments almost instantly instead of it having to take half a day, with no spending limits, and you don't have to worry about exchange rates, you don't have to worry about interest rates, and even transaction fees are close to zero for some cryptocurrency, that is. But this is where the real fun begins. The reason cryptocurrencies are called cryptocurrencies is because it is secured by cryptography. An example of this, which a lot of the majority of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin use, is blockchain. Now, often people get confused by this. Blockchain is not Bitcoin. Blockchain is not a currency itself. Blockchain is just a secure type of ledger. So you know that big spreadsheet that everyone has that is recording transactions, blockchain is just a way of organizing it, funnily enough, into blocks. So anytime I pay for something with Bitcoin, that transaction is recorded as a block. Each block contains transaction details like who was paid and how much, a hash, which is a unique identifier, and a hash of the previous transaction in sequence of the last transaction recorded. And the central point on which the system rests is that if something in a block changes, then the hash will change. You might be starting to see where this is going. Because each block contains data of the previous block, if the hash of this block here changes, then the next block will no longer have matching hash with it. And so, every subsequent block after that becomes invalid. If you combine this with what we talked about earlier, of the whole idea of a million users all having a copy of the blockchain ledger, then say I fraudulently create a transaction that said pay me money, I would have to not just tamper with the block and every single block after it. I would also have to do this on at least 500,000 computers around the world, so that the majority of computers on the system are consistent with the one I've tampered, which is probably not going to happen. Whereas hacking into someone's Naira account and sending myself money, which does happen, is literally just as simple as guessing someone's 6-digit PIN. But there is a massive jump between that and trying to hack into 500,000 uncorrelated computers at once. So cryptocurrencies have their issues, and I'm literally going to talk about them in a minute. But hopefully, you now know why some people are excited about crypto. And now, that brings me on to investments. You've probably heard of people that take their money and put it in crypto. All that means is that they are taking their normal currency like Naira and exchanging it for cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. They are hoping that those cryptocurrencies become the next big thing and suddenly shoot up in value, to which point they can either spend them or exchange them back for Naira for more than what they bought it. But Bitcoin is just one of over 4,000 cryptocurrencies already, and they all have different properties. For example, Ethereum, which is the second most invested in and can process transactions even faster than Bitcoin. There is one called Cardano, which is considered technologically superior. There is one called Litecoin, built on newer algorithms. Disclaimer: this is in no way financial advice. I'm not recommending this. To be honest, I see cryptocurrency investments more like an optimistic gamble rather than a strategic investment. The downside of cryptocurrencies. 1. The reason I think a lot of people don't take crypto seriously is its volatility. Because these currencies are so new and completely digital, unlike say the market for gold, no one really knows what they should be worth. You find that crypto prices are quite heavily speculative. They are tied to news cycles, like say when a glowing article comes out about them, prices spiral upward. But when Elon posts a tweet that brings them down, prices go down. 2. The fact that cryptocurrencies are not really accepted as a form of payment in many places. Yes, I can now buy things online with crypto, and I can even donate to charity with crypto, but there's been a lot of companies that are quite back and forth with it. Microsoft, Tesla, and even Burger King are examples of companies that said they were going to accept Bitcoin, then later says they weren't going to accept Bitcoin. 3. There are environmental concerns. The reason a lot of these cryptocurrencies are secured is because of the whole concept of transactions being verified many times by many computers. I think that it's fair criticism that in itself creates a fundamental inefficiency. That computing power requires a lot of electricity. You could counter that by saying that traditional banking uses more electricity, and there are newer coins with better technology that are more efficient. And one day, we will be able to get that electricity from renewable sources. But it depends on who you ask. 4. There are pretty strong sentiments that because there is no real policing or regulations on crypto right now, it is like the perfect currency for criminals. But to be honest, I think the data speaks for itself on that one. According to Chainalysis, 0.34% of crypto transactions are criminal, up to 5% of normal cash transactions are criminal. And I think it's because of a bit of misconception that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are anonymous. They are actually pseudonymous. What that means is that even though your actual details isn't visible to everyone, your public key, your unique identifier, is backed into the blockchain upon making transactions. So cash is just a better currency for most type of criminal activity. Its very nature is untraceable. I hope at this point you now have a bit more understanding of cryptocurrencies. Though I know it might take more than just one video for you to understand exactly how cryptocurrencies work, but don't worry, in subsequent videos I'll be going in depth about cryptocurrencies. I'm sending you peace and love. Until next time, have a wonderful day.